It might be your last day.
There's a lady with a gun.
And that is to make him suffer.
And hopefully he's not getting any more.
They seemed like a nice, happy family who loved and cared for each other until something happened that turned their lives into a horrible nightmare. And this is the 911 call that happened to capture everything.
Corporate 911,
Please put me in the hospital.
Hello?
Christy and Jason Sheets met while they were really young as they both grew up 15 minutes away from each other. Christy was born and raised in Decatur, Alabama, while Jason lived and attended high school nearby in Trinity. And the moment they met, they just knew they were meant to be together. They started dating soon after, and before long they had fallen deeply in love with each other and were even talking about their future together. Eventually, Jason proposed to Christy, and they got married and started their own family in Houston, Texas. They were blessed with two amazing daughters, Taylor, who was born in 1994, and Madison, born in 1998. Those who knew Christy described her as a devoted and loving mother who would do absolutely anything for her two girls. She was super proud of them and would constantly brag about them to everyone she met. Christy was also very active on Facebook and described herself as a conservative Baptist. She would often post about how much she loved her daughters, sometimes even quoting Bible verses. In this post dated November 2014, she wrote, "Every good and perfect thing is from above." James 1:17. Today, I'm thankful for my two perfect gifts. They are very best friends. They make me so very proud to be their mother. In another post, she wrote a heartfelt message wishing her girls a happy Daughter's Day, saying, "Happy Daughter's Day to my two amazing, sweet, kind, beautiful, and intelligent girls. I love and treasure you both more than you could ever possibly know." Christy's firstborn daughter, Taylor, was 22 years old and had just graduated with honors from Lone Star College in Cypress, Texas. She was working as a preschool teacher where she was described as being a natural with children and never missed a day of work. Her friends said that she was kind, sweet, and helpful, with the ability to make friends wherever she went. She was also a talented artist and worked hard to turn it into a career. Her Facebook posts show some of the amazing work that she had done for her clients. Taylor was in a long-term relationship with a guy called Juan Sebastian, who she had dated since high school. The two were even planning to get married on June 27, 2016. According to her friends, Taylor really looked up to her parents and referred to them as her heroes. On Mother's Day of 2013, she shared an old photo of her mother on Facebook, calling her one of the biggest influences in her life. "Mom, you are so selfless, as you always put our whole family before yourself and never ask for anything in return. You're so kind and loving as you always remind us of just how much you care and how proud you are of everything we do. You're so intelligent and fun to be around because I feel I can talk to you forever now about anything." Taylor's sister, Madison, was 17 years old and a student at Seven Lakes High School. She was described as intelligent, funny, and genuinely sweet. She also had a giving heart and often did volunteer work around her school. Like her older sister, Madison loved being around children and was a popular babysitter around the neighborhood. Both Taylor and Madison were pretty close to their dad, Jason, who was described as a doting and loving father. For many years, everything was going well for the Sheets family until 2012, when things took a dark turn. It all started when Christy's grandfather sadly passed away. She and her grandfather had been super close, and she had grown up idolizing him. So when he died, she felt completely broken and that her world had turned upside down. "The person I loved the longest and loved so very much went to be with the Lord 3 weeks ago today. I pray one day God will heal my broken heart. I miss and love you so very much, Papa. I cry every day because you're gone. I would do anything to hear your voice or get one of your amazing hugs just one more time. I miss you." But even before her heart could completely heal from this huge loss, her mom also died a few months later. The pain of losing the two most important people in her life in such a short span of time was unimaginable for Christy, and she didn't know how to cope or handle it, and she got into a deep depression. She could barely eat or go to work and started drinking heavily. For 4 years, she tried everything to get over the pain, but nothing seemed to work. In fact, it got so bad that her family had to call the authorities on multiple occasions after she tried hurting herself. She was sent to 3 different mental facilities on separate occasions and was put on medications for depression and anxiety, though no one knows for sure if she was taking her medicines as she was supposed to. Jason tried everything he could to help Christy, but she felt completely alone and that nobody understood her. This really put a strain on their marriage, and by June 2016, the two had started talking about ending their 20-year marriage. Christy felt that Jason was disregarding her feelings, while Jason thought that Christy was making it impossible to get through to her. Now, Christy was a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, which gives everyone the right to own a firearm. She made several social media posts declaring her love for guns and how she desired to have them so she could protect her family. In one post, dated March 2016, she wrote, "It would be horribly tragic if my ability to protect myself or my family were to be taken away, but that's exactly what Democrats are determined to do by burning semi-automatic handguns." Ironically, a few months after this post, she would use her gun, not to protect her family, but to harm them in the worst way possible. On June 24, 2016, the day was supposed to be one of the happiest for the Sheets family. It was Jason's 45th birthday, and Taylor's wedding was just 2 days away. She had just picked up her wedding gown and was super excited about her big day. But then Christy, for some reason, did not want Taylor to get married and even threatened to ground her so that she doesn't see her fiancé. Christy and Taylor got into a huge fight until Jason intervened and told Christy that it was inappropriate to ground Taylor at her age. This really set Christy off, and she stormed out of the room, planning how she was going to get back at him. And what she did was something that no one saw coming. At around 5 p.m., Christy called for a family meeting, which Jason thought was to tell the girls that the two of them were getting divorced. Or maybe she wanted to talk about her earlier argument with Taylor and perhaps ask for forgiveness. But unfortunately, nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. Jason and the girls sat in the living room waiting for Christy to start the discussion. They were shocked when instead, she suddenly pulled out a gun and aimed it at Jason. They didn't know what to think and tried pleading with her to put down the gun, but she didn't. Instead, she did something that would shock the entire country. Police received very chilling 911 calls from Taylor and Madison. In the calls, you could hear Jason begging Christy to put the gun down as the girls screamed in the background, pleading with their mother not to harm them. And I've got to warn you guys, this is pretty disturbing to listen to.
Corporate 911, you need
I promise you, please forgive me. I'm sorry.
Hello?
Please. I'm sorry. No.
Hello?
Please, I'm telling you. I want to.
Jason watched in horror as Christy turned the gun from him and pointed it at his Taylor, then pulled the trigger. Jason quickly rushed to his daughter's side as he yelled for Madison to run. But before Madison got to the front door, Christy fired at her and she fell down just outside her front door. Jason was screaming and shouting at Christy while trying to get Taylor away from her mother. They managed to get out into the streets, but Christy followed them and fired again at Taylor, and she collapsed on the ground. A neighbor who witnessed the horrific scene called 911 and told a dispatcher that there was a woman with a gun and 2 ladies lying on the ground.
Do you please fire EMS?
Yes, we need an ambulance right away. That people believe they're shot.
Okay, stay on the line. Okay, you think they got shot, you say?
Yes.
Okay. All right, stay on the line.
There's a lady with a gun.
There's a lady with a gun? Where?
Yes. It's coming out of the house right now.
Okay.
People shot outside.
Okay.
People shot outside.
After seeing her own daughters hurt and bleeding, you'd think that Christy would somehow come back to her senses and realize what she had done. But she didn't. In fact, when she realized she was out of ammo, she went back into the house to get some more and finish off what she had started.
She's trying to shoot again on the top of her, but apparently she don't have no more. Apparently she don't have any more bullets.
Okay, yeah, I do too, sir. Just stay on the line and let me know what you see. But don't.
Okay.
I don't want
She's going inside. She's going inside the house now. Hopefully he's not getting any more bullets because she looks like she's going to look for more bullets.
Okay. All right, stand on the line.
I can't even begin to imagine how traumatizing this must have been for both Taylor and Madison. Being murdered by someone that's supposed to love and protect you is something that no one ever thinks could happen to them. The neighbor was also shocked and could hardly believe what he had just seen, but there was nothing he could do without putting himself and his family in danger. A responding officer arrived around this time and found Christy standing over Taylor with a gun. He ordered her to put down her weapon, but she refused, and he was forced to kill her.
I can hear bullets, and she's laying down on the floor now.
I'm so sorry you had to see that, sir. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Sadly, by the time Christy was stopped, it was already too late. Madison had died from a gunshot wound to her neck, while Taylor had been hit 3 times and had to be airlifted to the hospital, where she sadly passed away. Jason had managed to escape without any injuries, but he had to be taken to the hospital because he was so broken up. He later told investigators that Christy did this because she wanted to get revenge on him for asking for a divorce. He said that she had inherited the gun from her grandfather and that she had applied for a permit but was denied due to her mental health. According to investigators, Christy had multiple opportunities to fire at Jason during the attack, but she chose to keep him alive and make him suffer. Christy felt that Jason did not understand the pain that she had felt when she lost her grandfather and mother, and so she came up with the sickest and twisted way to make him know what it felt like to lose the people he loved the most.
And he did state she accomplished what she set out to do, and that is to make him suffer.
This is a pain that will unfortunately stay with him for the rest of his life. During Taylor and Madison's funeral, which was also attended by Taylor's fiancée, Jason gave a heartbreaking message saying, "If you have loved them, tell them you love them every day and give them a hug, because you never know, it might be your last day." What do you think caused Christy to do what she did? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.